Hello, my name is Michael Rashad and I've been a software developer for 27 years. I started off by developing software for my own businesses and then I began to develop for other companies. Over the years, I've helped hundreds of companies become more efficient and more profitable. Along the way, I discovered something very interesting, which is that the majority of them weren't computerized. They had computers, of course, but they weren't using them in an effective way. They had a tool at their disposal, but didn't really know how to use it. So what they ended up doing was often the same thing they would have done on a manual system, but they're doing it on a computer. Many of them use spreadsheets, which is not much different than entering figures into a ledger with a pen. It seems like it should be better, but is it? The simple answer is no, it is not. Running a business is a tricky thing. To succeed, you have to have some luck, perhaps a lot of it, a lot of different skills, and a fair amount of resources. You're also going to have to put in a lot of hours building that business up. Along the way, you end up hiring people to do the day-to-day stuff so that you can focus on growing the business. You likely spend a lot of money on marketing and advertising, and you are always networking. All of this you know to be true. What you may not know or realize is just how much time is wasted every single day doing administrative tasks time and time again. I know this because I've seen it in almost every company that I've developed software for. They type the same things over and over again, they copy and paste from one document to another, they add up things in a calculator, or they keep track of everything on dozens, perhaps hundreds or more of spreadsheets. All of these things represent a waste of the most valuable resource you have, which is time. Now, the reason you don't think about this is that you don't know that there is a better way, which is where we come in. We've spent years figuring out how to streamline business processes so that repetitive tasks become completely automated. Data entry is mostly done by point and click, and most importantly, things are done quickly without errors. YouRent IT has been designed and developed to transform your rental business, which is very competitive. Responsiveness and efficiency will set you apart from your competition. How much more likely will you be to get a quote approved if that quote is in your customer's email box before you hang up the phone? Will the customer see you as efficient and somebody they want to do business with? If they've called around and asked your competitors to quote on the same items, and it takes them an hour or two to get the quote out, whereas yours is already delivered, do your chances improve or decrease? Yeah, that's a rhetorical question. But it's about more than that. Sure, you got the quote done and out in a matter of minutes with almost no typing and it looks great, really professional, but that's just the beginning. What about the time you just saved? What will you do with that time? Follow up with a phone call to people you've quoted on but haven't heard back from yet? Call customers to make sure they're happy with their orders, etc.? If you free up time from admin, then you have that time to spend developing your business. Your people will become more productive because A, they have the time available, and B, because they're not bored to death doing the same thing over and over again. So, let's extend the process. You get the order. Yes, great. But now, do you have to type all that information again? Or would you rather press one button and have the order created instantly so the invoice is in your customer's email box within a couple of minutes? More time saved. There are other benefits, of course. Less time training new employees, better access to data that will help you make smart decisions about where to take your business, etc. But ultimately, it's about making your business more efficient. Because if you become more efficient, you cannot become less successful or less profitable, and you may well become way more, perhaps even more, than you dreamt possible. And yes, switching over to YouRent IT involves change, which nobody likes, but if you knew categorically and with absolute certainty that the short-term pain of making that change would have long-lasting benefits, the decision would be easier, wouldn't it? Do you remember when we had typewriters instead of word processors? When we made a mistake, we had to go back and white it out and then type it again. Often we made so many mistakes we had to start all over again. Now, word processors correct those errors automatically, so documents look much better. We also had to hit the carriage return at the end of every line. We don't have to do that anymore either. When word processors came out, It took quite a while for people to embrace the technology. They were used to their typewriters and didn't want to change. But eventually they did, and now the typewriter is as rare as a dodo bird, and hardly anybody misses them. More recently, we've had the advent of the GPS system that is now in almost every car. Before they became commonplace, we were able to put an address into Google and get directions, which we printed out and took in the car with us. It wasn't ideal, but it was much better than looking at maps and figuring it all out. Now we just enter the address in the GPS and follow the voice. It was a big change, and it took quite a while for it to catch on, but now we simply cannot live without it. We've spent hundreds of hours developing YouRent IT to help people in your industry. Sure, we hope to make money out of it, but the biggest reward for us is to know that we've actually made a difference in people's lives. We've transformed businesses that are barely getting by into profitable entities that will hire more people and inject more money into the economy. Business needs to be a win-win, not just I only win if you lose. We hope you'll let us help you. This is Michael Rashad. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.